Hey, welcome to the CTO studio. This week I have a special guest on Nguyen. Yes, it's not Win. We talk about the hybrid environments of software and hardware, electrons, women in technology, and a very special story about Vietnam. So stay tuned.
Well, I have a wonderful electronic invention I want you to see. It looks something like this.
Welcome to the CTO studio. I'm your host, Etienne de Bruin. The CTO studio is where we chat with CTOs building amazing products with incredible teams. Have you chatted with a CTO lately? Hey, welcome to the CTO studio. I have on Nguyen. Was that right?
Yes, that was perfect. Close. No, that was perfect. Thank you.
You did not see how she trained me to say that. I just think that millions and millions and millions of Americans are mispronouncing that every single day.
They are.
They're saying win.
They're saying it's a win-win situation.
That sounds like a dad joke.
Yeah.
Do you have kids?
I do.
Do they say that?
Do they say it's a win-win situation?
Yes.
No, they don't.
How many kids do you have?
I have two boys.
I have three. 2 girls and 1 boy.
Oh, wow.
They are not the brain, they are the Bruin. And also Etienne. I mean, I get multiple versions of that name.
Oh, really?
And why did you say it so perfectly?
I just said it the way it's spelled.
Wow, I love that. So
Yes.
CTO of Creative Electron.
Yes.
You're building imaging systems that use creative electrons?
Yes. For the purpose of inspecting samples for defects.
Okay. And are you mostly a hardware company or a software imaging company?
You know, as my boss, the CEO, Bill Cardoso, likes to pitch what we are, we're a software company that delivers our product in a hardware box.
That sounds like he's got a sales background.
He's actually got a double E degree. He's a PhD in double E, and of course he has an MBA. And
did he invent the system or?
Well, I don't know about invent because you know X-rays.
Yes, but
he did come up with a lot of our ideas and how we've productized those ideas. And, he works with me and our COO, Griffin Lemaster, to come up with solutions that work for our customers.
And your customers are mainly?
PCB manufacturers, electronic manufacturing services.
Is that how they decided to engage this market? Was, hey, we think that there's a better way to inspect PC boards.
Well, obviously with X-ray, you're able to see things that you can't see with your naked eye.
Mm-hmm.
So, people do a lot of visual inspections, but you need to see below the surface or inside of objects without having to disassemble it. So if you can just take that and apply it to anything that you would like to inspect, that's where the X-ray technology really is advantageous.
Do people who use your hardware have to wear special suits?
No. We have fully leaded boxes and we keep the radiation levels within standards. So no, there's no special clothing or suits or anything.
So if I can visualize this, it's a box and I just push my products through it for inspection.
Well, that's if you have a conveyor belt type of system.
Okay.
But a lot of our boxes have doors with leaded glass. So you would, slide the door open, place your sample on the stage, and then you would image it.
When I put my hand in the box.
Okay.
Am I safe?
Yes, you are safe.
Well, I mean, X-rays make me nervous. Because every time I go to the dentist, my hygienist leaves as a human and comes back as a robot.
And you put on the bib, right?
Yes, and dresses like what's happening to me right now?
Yeah, no. I mean, when the door is open, we have interlocks if they're not engaged. there will be no radiation emitted. Okay. And the levels that we're emitting are not high enough to cause harm to you when everything's fully enclosed.
Okay.
So you're safe.
Thank you.
And like I said, you won't be able to x-ray your hand because the door is open.
And is that the standard configuration? Is the box with the door, like, do you have one SKU for that sort of thing, or do you have multiple configurations of the boxes?
We have multiple form factors. I mean, there's one that people like to describe as it's cube. It's called the cube, and it's this big. What is that? I want to say
foot by a foot.
Over a foot. I don't have
that
the
does
exact
sound adorable.
measurements. Yeah, for x-raying and
Like, can you x-ray puppies and kittens?
I don't think we should talk about that, but
So as CTO, are you then therefore presiding over a hybrid environment of hardware and software?
yes. Because software is managing the hardware, we're very intertwined. So a lot of decisions as far as what hardware is going to be used, how do we integrate things, that's all under the software stack. And, myself and my team, we make suggestions on what's compatible or not.
For driving the hardware.
Yeah, well, the X-ray inspection systems, there's the main components, which is the X-ray detector, the X-ray source emitter, and then the box itself, and if there's any movement inside the box as far as being able to manipulate the samples inside. Okay?
But how do you manipulate the image of the sample, or like physically manipulate it?
Well, both. There's the physical manipulation because you can't really get at times with the magnification that you want the entire sample inside. So you do need to move your samples around on that stage in order to view, the targeted area. And then we do also have software capabilities where we stitch those X-ray images together so that you can get the full image of the stage.
Okay, and is the image that you render, is it 2D or is it 3D?
It's 2D. We've done things in the past with 3D as well. We have a system that's a CT. So, basically we rotate the samples around, capture a bunch of snapshots, and then that gets passed into a third-party application that transforms that into a 3D model.
So do your customers purchase this box from you?
Yes.
And then they basically, when they are doing manufacturing runs, they'll take samples from whatever they're manufacturing and just do spot checks? Or is it mostly for the beginning while they're prototyping, or how does that work?
Well, they can do the spot checks if, they just don't have the capability to run everything. And if they're getting one of these standalone boxes, then they're not going to run everything through there because it's a manual process. But we have created custom conveyor systems so that they can run all their samples through. And
do you maintain those boxes, and is there a lifespan on those boxes? Do they get shipped back? How does that work?
We have a preventative maintenance where annually we will go out and inspect these systems to make sure that, there are radiations within levels, that the detector is still performing. Same thing with the emitters. So there is a lifespan. I don't have the hours on hand, but obviously the more you use it, then the sooner the equipment's going to wear out.
My brain just took me to the image of X-rays being emitted from the source emitter. Does that happen in like a beam, or does it flood the compartment?
Oh boy.
I'm only asking because I'm worried when my teeth get zapped at the dentist.
Yeah.
Are they zapping it? Is it like a beam that comes to my tooth, or does it just go and the whole room is just flooded with X-rays?
Oh gosh, I don't know about your dentist. I don't want to answer this.
Okay.
Well, I actually can't answer this. I think that what's happening is the particles are being emitted, and then as they bounce around,
Yeah.
I think they start to lose their energy. So I don't think that it's just going to go all over the place like you're imagining.
Okay, so it probably they beam it and then it just goes away like.
I mean, it's forming a cone beam. It's not like a laser
So that's
beam.
why it gets right up in my face, which I don't like. I don't like it when they put that thing right in my face.
Bad experience at the dentist.
So your journey to become CTO at this company, did they hire you a CTO or did you become one?
I became one. So my original title at this company at Creative Electron was VP of Software Development.
And then when did they say we need you to be CTO? How did that happen?
Last year. We've been growing, and like I said, software is just so intertwined into our product that originally, it's just focusing on maintaining and developing and overseeing the software side of things. But over time, my CEO realized like we need to have that tighter relationship of software and hardware. And so he just said, it only makes sense for me to be CTO and really think about new strategies that we can deploy and technologies that we can start implementing and just growing the software along with that hardware.
Yeah, and then so as your makeup VPs of hardware and software then, as far as your direct reports, do you have, or how do you manage that? Help the CTOs who have hybrid environments understand how you're managing both the hardware development and the software development.
You just do it. I mean, I work at a startup essentially.
I mean,
so
you just caused us $10,000 in royalties to Nike, right?
Oops. Are you disappointed in me now?
No. By the way, I have a friend, a very close friend of mine, and he's French.
Yes.
And I know that if I'm not disappointing him at least once a day, then I'm not doing my job. So in a way, I have this inverted thinking around disappointment. And
it's on your checklist.
I realize now that by disappointing you, I'm actually building a relationship with you. So I'm loving this.
Oh, wow. I don't know how to respond to that. But to answer your question, making good software, we do have to understand what's happening with the hardware. So it kind of evolved naturally anyway. And because we're a startup, you just have to dive in and figure things out. So there's not a whole lot of advice that I can give people other than
do it. Not just do it.
Right.
Just do it.
Do it minus just.
Minus just. Let the record reflect that we removed the just. But so let's get into the mechanics of CTOing a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you how are you, so do you manufacture the boxes?
Yes, we do.
So there's obviously a development methodology there with your hardware people. And then the software people probably have some sort of agile software development around the device drivers, the imaging software and all that. So how do you have VPs assigned to each one of those and then they manage that? Or are you managing more like pods, or how are you? Help me visualize this.
Well, I don't have VPs that I manage directly. Our structure is different, So I have 3 direct reports, and then I also will talk to the manufacturing team. So we have Griffin Master. He does all of the CAD designs, but he'll come to us to figure out oh, is it okay to use this type of actuator? We want better accuracy, so we'll tell them you need to put these things in.
So as a consulting whether that would be a problem on integrating that into the software and all that.
Yeah, as far as like how can we get the software to perform up to the levels that the customer needs. And that's, having repeatable results and being able to accurately go to any given target.
Are all your boxes custom made for customers, or do they just buy from a catalog?
We have standard product offerings, but because we have customers that have very specific defects that they look for, and now that everyone wants more automated, less human intervention, it does become very custom, if that makes sense. The starting box, is the standard offering, but we do offer the customer the ability to add on additional software features and even hardware.
Okay, so in service to automating down the road, so that you set the box up according to their spec, and then the automation kicks in. Like they switch the box on and it's automated.
To some degree, yes.
I feel like it's hard to talk to really smart people.
Are you calling me smart people?
Yeah. I literally just said you switch on the box and the automation happens.
I don't know what you're getting at, Etienne.
Those are just, it just sounds so inadequate. My description of your product and your technology sounds so inadequate. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes, there's actually a lot of work behind getting all of this coordinated so that we're moving the hardware correctly to the designated locations and then capture the image and perform an analysis on it.
Do those images come back to you and you guys analyze it?
Yes.
Okay. And so tell me about do you have boxes that are huge? Can I call it a box? Scanners. What do you call those things?
Yes, you could call them boxes.
I think when you said cute box, I feel like everything's a box.
They are box shaped, yes.
Okay. So do you have massive ones?
We have ones that are double fridge wide. And then, if there's conveyors attached to them, then they get even longer.
And are there many companies in this space?
There are a good number of companies, yes.
So do you differentiate yourself then on the software and the analysis and the kinds of scans you can do? Is that a thing?
Well, we differentiate ourselves, yes. A lot of these other competitors of ours are higher end or much lower end. So we're kind of in the mid-level range. So with the higher end, they're just not going to customize a solution. So that's where we fill in the gap for a lot of our customers. They want the X-ray inspection system to do something that's specific to their sample. But, if they go to some of the higher end manufacturers, they just will refuse it.
Oh, okay. Because they the higher end is this is our box. This is what you do with it.
Take it as it is.
So your value prop is the relative cost benefit of customizing, but also getting these high end scans and.
Yeah, and some of our systems, for the pricing that you are paying, you get a really beautiful quality picture. So, that's also where we can just sell something that's a standard product that, takes over that portion of the market share. Is we're affordable compared to the higher end product, but we're still able to give a very good picture.
Yeah, and do you ship international, all over the world?
Yes, we do.
Wow.
We have systems in Europe, in
South
Asia.
Africa.
I'm not sure about South Africa. I'll have to check on that,
No,
Etienne.
I feel disappointed.
Well, you can be our customer.
The cute box does sound very lucrative.
You could X-ray anything. Your cell phone, your watch.
Really?
Yeah. We do teardowns with iFixit.
Wow.
So every time there's a new iPhone that comes out, we partner with iFixit and we do teardowns of it.
Wow. And do defects manifest usually as the same image or is every part that gets scanned different? So can you write software that just generally knows what defects look like, or is it very specific for each? Or do you just give the image and they have to do the analysis? Well, you do the analysis though.
Well, there's all of those things you described are true. Okay.
I feel so relieved right now.
So, customers can just buy our product simply for imaging, and then they will do the manual inspection themselves. So that's an option. But if they want us to do it for them, we also provide software that will do that. So some of it is, an image comparison of a golden sample, and others are we train it on what we know to be good data, and then...
Oh, you just said train it, so...
Yes.
Should we say the words?
You can say it. I know you've been waiting.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Say it.
Machine learning. Okay. So I want to talk about this little thing you mentioned to me, which is this thing about escaping Vietnam as a 2-year-old.
Oh, yes.
Is this an American dream story?
Yes, it is an American dream story. So, Vietnam, unfortunately, became a communist country, and my father was just not happy living there anymore. And seeing, he was going to university at the time, and all of those dreams just kind of went away when the South fell. So one day he just decided that he's not going to stay here anymore, and we were just going to risk it and pay a guide to take us out of the country. So we ended up going through Cambodia, and we ended up in Thailand at a refugee camp where I lived for, 3 years or so. And then finally we were approved to come to the United States. So, it was a struggle from that point on, even as we, came here. But the life that we're able to have in this country, I don't know if we could have achieved the same things if we had stayed.
How many siblings do you have?
So I always feel weird when I get asked this question. Technically, I have 2 sisters, but my one older sister passed away from malaria. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, thank you.
And where did you guys settle in the States?
So we ended up in San Diego because I have an aunt here. And when we were approved, they asked, do you have any family? So we have my aunt who lives here, and then my uncle lives in France. So we decided to, come here instead.
Do you say France? Another Vietnamese person I know in San Diego is from France. Do you know Kai Pham?
No.
Okay. He's into AI big time.
Oh, you had him on one of your podcasts.
Yes, yeah. Holy moly. You watch those things?
Yeah, they're good. Why do you think I agreed to come here today?
I don't know. I literally don't know, Eric.
What are we doing here?
So your parents, are they still with us? Are they?
Yes.
And are they in San Diego?
Yes, they're in San Diego.
And did your father realize his dreams? He brought his family to a beautiful country.
They have a comfortable life. I think that if he had been born here and been able to go to the, schooling here and really just continued with his education, he's a brilliant man, and I know that he could have done a whole lot more with his life, but unfortunately, due to circumstances, he came here, and, my parents just took odd jobs and worked very hard and did what they could to survive, but, they afforded my sister and I opportunities to go to higher education ourselves, and, we've done well for ourselves as far as finishing and getting a degree and having employment.
Did you do that in San Diego?
Yes, I I stayed here and I went to UCSD. My sister got to go to UCLA.
I see a hint of envy on your face.
Well, my parents were they wanted me close by.
Oh, because they knew.
Knew what?
I don't know. I don't know them.
What are you insinuating?
I don't feel like I am. I feel like you are.
Well, you phrased it that way.
I
Let's
guess.
move on. Let's move on.
So the other day I was scrolling my LinkedIn feed and I saw a photo of you and a team hacking an app for the homeless or something.
Yes, hacking for humanity.
Now, what I was amazed at was that you guys got second prize.
Yes. We were also amazed.
I know. I don't associate second prize with you. I feel like I associate first prize with you. What happened?
You know what?
That sounds like a failure.
It does. I
How do you feel about that?
I mean, part of it is, of course, you want to win first. But I still am proud of what we did, even if we got second. The first place team had much better UI design and marketing.
I know someone who was on the first prize.
Do you?
Michael LaRocca.
Oh, yes. I know Michael.
Yeah, he used to intern with me.
He did mention that.
All the good things you see in him is probably because of what he learned from working when he was with me.
Did you just take credit for his success?
I mean, you said that, but I
Yes.
spoke about his learning experience.
Oh, okay.
This is terrible. I'm sorry.
I don't know about this.
This is good.
Okay.
So tell me about the Hacking for Humanity.
Okay.
So what were the apps? What was the app that won?
The app that won, that Michael LaRocca is on,
I'm not interested in the second place app. I want to know about the first place app.
it was called Hume. And it was, their focus was to humanize the homeless. So the homeless are able to share their stories and also connect with people around the neighborhood who can support them by donating various things to them. And it had a wish list. So
so the homeless can A, share their stories, B, he mentioned to me that they were looking at maybe implementing the prototype. Like they prototyped it. No, there was no coding, right? It was just
I think they mocked it up. I don't think they coded.
Okay. He mentioned to me that potentially we could work together to get that coded. And I was like, well, were you first or second? And he said first. I said, great, let's work together. And what was your app?
So our app really sought to solve the problem of homelessness by connecting homeless folks with potential employers who would be empathetic and supportive of their current situation, as well as connecting them to volunteers who can support them in that journey towards employment.
Now, how did you decide to get involved with this?
So I've been going to different women meetups, and one of the ladies I met there said, "Oh, there's going to be this event hosted by Girls in Tech. Do you want to participate?" So then I thought about it. I was like, "Yeah, why not? Let's do this."
So it's not so much about the homelessness; it's more about just a project for a good cause with Girls in Tech.
Yes, that was the initial reason for committing to it. But, once I was there and we heard from various community leaders who are working in this domain, as well as a person, Tony, who's currently homeless, just some of the facts really struck everyone's heartstrings. And it's a serious issue that needs to be addressed.
I see everywhere I fly to, I feel like I've been doing this for about 10 years, flying around to different tech scenes, and just feel like everywhere I go, there's more and more homeless people. It's pretty crazy. And I was in an Uber drive the other day in Portland, and the driver explained to me that the homeless crisis in downtown Portland is growing. I think they said it's the fastest in the country. I'm sure every city says that. But he said one of the reasons it's so popular, because I thought Portland, I mean, rain, cold. I can understand San Diego. But he said it's because people are so nice.
Oh, that's
people have so
interesting.
much compassion that homeless people know that
Are drawn to Portland.
to sort of the benevolence of the locals.
I mean, that makes sense. And I have been to Seattle and Portland in winter, and I've seen the homeless, and I always wonder how, because I'm just a tourist and I'm freezing, and I get to go back to a hotel room later.
I was in Portland just a couple days ago.
Yes.
Freezing. So what is happening with Girls in Tech? Or you said you go to various women's meetups.
Yes. So I go to Girls in Tech, Girl Develop It, Women Who Code. They're just great meetups for learning about different technologies, networking with other women who work in the tech sector.
Have you heard of Ad Astra?
I've seen it on my LinkedIn feed.
Yeah, I went to an Ad Astra event last week.
How was it?
It's amazing. Female founders, man. Just growing. I love it.
That's awesome.
What was your biggest transition from, and I'm going to tie this back to giving back. I'm assuming you're giving back to these communities of women who are growing as developers, as leaders. But I want to know, what was one of your biggest shifts when you were asked or invited or applied for the CTO role at your company from VP software development, right?
Right.
What, as a person, what did you go through when you now had to become CTO? What would you say was the main differentiator between the original role and the new role?
So I think in a lot of ways, there wasn't a huge difference, but having that title change, mentally, I began to really question, well, what does it mean to be a good CTO? And that's when I found 7 CTOs.
Oh, come on.
No joke. I saw that pop up in my feed and I was like, what is this? And that's how we met.
Oh, we talked on my chat app.
Yes, I took the bait.
Just installed the chat widget. Do you know how many people I get who tell me this is an annoying chat widget, you just take it off?
How many?
1.
Who?
I've never spoken to them again.
You unlinked them.
Okay. So seriously.
So seriously, it's just having that title, you're responsible more so. And there's a seriousness to that role. And so now, I've just been kind of picking up the pace for myself, because part of it is that you just need to learn a whole lot more about what's out there, what's going on, machine learning, the word you didn't want to say, artificial intelligence, the other.
Our subscription rates are skyrocketing right now.
But everyone is talking about this, and
so that gives you something I see regularly is if someone is promoted through the ranks, it's tough for a C-suite to afford the authority and leadership to that person, because they still kind of see them as the original role. It doesn't sound like you have that problem at Creative Electron. Like, you have the role of CTO, like you're involved in business strategy. You mentioned earlier looking at where the industry's going. Like, you felt like that's happened?
Yeah, I mean, I am involved in all aspects of the business. So, aside from managing the software development portion of it, I'm meeting with industry partners. I'm actually on a committee that's trying to set up this standard. Well, actually, it is already a standard, but we're just trying to grow the number of adoptions in the factory spaces. It's called Connected Factory Exchange. So there's this Industry 4.0. A lot of the systems now are, IoT, or just people want to be able to manage the factory floor better and efficiently and react to issues that pop up with any given component or node within their system or network, I should say. So with CFX and some of these other standards, you're able to get notifications in real time of what's happening on your floor. And since our systems are on the floor with these other machines, it only made sense for us to participate and also, help drive the direction of the standard.
And you're part of these industry consortiums or
committees? Sure.
Where should I be afraid when I have to go through that machine at the that does the scan around my body, full body scan at the airport?
I feel like you're really concerned. I don't have any data to tell you that it's not safe. Okay.
I mean, I know it's probably safe. I feel like I have an opportunity to ask you.
But I don't produce that, so it would be.
Yeah. Do you farm that out, that component, right? The emitter, the source.
Yes, we don't make it in-house.
Okay, I will go through those machines with comfort. That's why I applied for TSA Pre, so I don't have to go through those machines.
I mean, you can always opt for the wand.
I know, I hate that wand. So I started an organization. Well, I shouldn't say that. I created a group on meetup.com, and it was called Women Who CTO.
Oh. And what's the status?
First event, I attracted 15 people, women. And then the next event, nobody showed up. And then the following event, nobody showed up.
What do you think
happened?
And
I've hosted hundreds of meetups. Probably literally hundreds. And this was the first time in my life where not only did they not show up to one, they did not show up to the second one.
What do you think happened? Did you not get the word out? Or you just don't think there's enough female CTOs?
I mean, I used the meetup.com platform to promote the events. I had 2 speakers lined up for both that would have attracted people generally. I consulted with many of my female friends about the branding and the logo and the language, and nothing. Then I renamed it from Women Who CTO to Future Female CTOs.
So now you've opened up to others who could aspire.
Well, I think that was the problem. Was I said Women Who CTO in the same theme as Women Who Code. So it was always meant to be aspirational. So I think there was maybe a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
That it was only for women who CTO. Meanwhile, it was an aspirational thing. So now I'm going to say future female CTOs.
I think you'll get better response with that. Yes.
How does all of that make you feel? Being active in sort of the women in tech.
I think that's great. We need more supporters. And, it's not enough just to have women promote women leadership. It should just be having equal opportunity and making it so that women can feel comfortable to participate and to aspire for these roles. Because most of the leadership in many organizations are typically male. And I can tell you that a lot of women feel uncomfortable being surrounded by people unlike them, Yeah. So it's great to have men and women support these initiatives just to get a mixture of people involved in tech. And it shouldn't just come from women themselves.
For me, it's a huge problem for me that, I run 7 CTOs, founded it. I have 100 members. I have 3 women in the organization. At 3%. Makes me very sad.
So what's your goal?
My goal is to, if I can't find them, I am going to do everything I can to make them. I know that doesn't sound right. English is my second language. But I'm just going to say, hey, if you're mildly interested in any way to lead software teams or be a technical co-founder of a badass company one day, if you are so much as just thinking about, if you've had 2 seconds of thinking about it, join me. I'm going to help you any way I can. I'm going to insert all the vocabulary. I am going to expose you to everybody you need to learn from. Let's do this. Because if we start today, you'll probably be approached by some newbie CEO one day who doesn't know what they're doing. And just be a part of that. Do it.
But Etienne, what you're really offering, though, is guidance, right?
Wow.
You're not just pairing people who need guidance. Are you going to be guiding them and giving them advice?
100%. 7 CTOs.
All right.
I want a forum of women as a forum of CTOs. Now, I get resistance from some who say, well, I don't want to be seen as a woman. I don't want to be seen as a man. I just am a CTO. So just...
Yes, I've heard that feedback before.
How do you feel about that?
I don't agree with that because I feel as though let's just say how it is. The truth is that women don't get these opportunities regularly. And some people might say it's because the women aren't going after it for themselves. But I think that there's a lot of environmental factors that make women second guess whether or not to even try. So, you do need to focus your solution. And to say that I don't want to be seen as a woman CTO, but that's what you are. So why do we not want to recognize that and say it?
I love it. I that's how I feel, but I'm a white male.
Well, be the white male that supports female leadership.
I am 1,000% behind that. And I want to use the 7 CTOs platform to do that. Please.
Please, what? You have a lot of open-ended types of statements.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
Future female CTO, is there anything wrong in that taxonomy?
Well, I don't know about CTOs because, that's such a high level. But let's just work on getting more female leadership. And then you can aspire. But to get more participation, I feel almost as though the CTO title
is too much.
It's too, yes.
I am known for doing too much too soon.
And what have the results been?
No one shows up.
Well, there you go. So you have to make it more approachable. And you have to make it in such a way that, because someone will see that and say, you know what, that's not really what I want to be right now.
What will that person who says that actually want?
Maybe they just want to be a software development manager. That title has a lot of responsibility attached to CTO, right? Now, we know that to be an architect, that's a different level of thinking and responsibility than managing the software team. And that, for some people, that they're not interested in aspiring to that. Maybe it doesn't fit their personality, but they do want some kind of leadership role. So if you say future CTO, there's a limiting aspect to that.
I get that. So I've got to come up with something that, so it's painting a picture that feels attainable and doable and not like way out there crazy.
Yeah, it's like, oh, do you want to be a billionaire? Well, yeah, I do, but people will start thinking like, what does that really mean? What does that really entail?
Future female billionaires.
No idea. No more tangents. You're gonna get no one there, right? Or maybe a couple.
Man, I must say, I went to a very dark, deep and dark place. And I wouldn't say I felt dark. It wasn't dark. It was just a deep reflection of, wow, what am I really trying to do?
What are you trying to do?
Trying to bring more female leadership into technology companies.
Right, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a CTO.
No. It would
I
be
think
great
it's just
if it was.
great to increase female presence in technology. You know, when I was doing my undergrad, I can look around the lecture hall of anywhere from 150 to 300 students, and I'll recognize all the female students. And it's a handful.
Wow. Crazy. And I spoke to some graduates recently who say that's still going on to this day. It hasn't changed. Still only a handful.
So we have to make tech more appealing and approachable.
Do you have any questions for me? That list I sent you, did you?
I know you didn't send me a list, Etienne.
On?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love this.
Do you?
I did.
You did.
Yeah.
And now the feeling has passed.
Yes. Did you like this?
Yeah, it was cool. I'm disappointed you didn't read my list thoroughly. You asked me a lot of questions.
Well, didn't it feel good writing them down?
For what purpose?
We touched on humanity. We touched on your Vietnam story. We didn't talk about Susan Miller. That's all.
Or my favorite books.
Yes. I only draw on favorite books when the conversation's really not going anywhere.
Oh, wow.
And we didn't even get to your favorite books, which is a very good sign.
Yay.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Have you chatted with a CTO lately? Hi, thank you for listening to the CTO Studio. If you don't mind, take a quick second and please rate and review the show. It helps us a lot. Go to the ctostudio.com for more information on what we're doing at 7 CTOs. We also have a video or two for you that could be a helpful resource for you as you're managing your company. So thank you for listening.